Hello, everybody. I'm Doug Proffitt, and we're glad to bring you another special presentation from WHAS 11. Thanks to our chief archivist, Joe Federley, who has been with WHAS 11. How long have you been
21
here?
years.
21 years. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, to a little bit of setup, we're going to take you to the day before the winter storm of '94, which would have been January 16th,
Right.
1994, and Louisville, for a bit of a time, Joe, I'll tell you this. We were, the nickname we had, we were saying in the newsroom, we had become Implosion City. We had 3 implosions, nearly back to back, and I got to anchor every single one of them. And tonight you're going to pick up the story there, Joe, with what's behind us that's no longer with us.
This is the Commonwealth Building. It was originally known as the T. Martin Brown Building.
And where did it sit?
Now, it was right across 4th Street from the Brown Hotel. The Brown Hotel actually lost about 24 windows when this implosion happened because it was so close to proximity of where this is. Now, the Brown Hotel, the last time we did this was talk about the Brown Hotel special. And it was created by 2 brothers. Now, Martin Brown, he died before J. Graham Brown got it opened. But so to do a tribute to him, this building was named after his brother, the Martin Brown Building.
So at one point it was called the Martin Brown Building, but then Commonwealth Insurance bought it and named it the Commonwealth
In 1955, they actually raised it 17 stories taller than it was, and that made it the tallest structure in town until the 800 building came.
Let's take you back to a freezing cold Sunday morning. Again, the day before the winter storm that we didn't really know was coming in, and what was going on there? Well, I know what we were doing.
Well, you've told the story many times where you're going to be, were you on the ground or you were on top of the building?
No, I was sitting in the corner of this building. We had cameras set up, live cameras everywhere. It was a Sunday morning early.
That's right.
And my anchor position was right on the corner of the Channel 11 building looking right over to the Brown.
Gary Rodemeyer was atop in a balcony somewhere, and I think Rachel Platt was the ground reporter.
Right.
And you're going to see in this half-hour special, we actually do update the weather, right? And you've told me the story lots of times.
Well, our meteorologist at the time, the legendary Chuck Taylor, he lived downtown. He lived downtown so we could always be close to the TV station. Keep in mind, folks, that's when we got our weather reports and updates from the National Weather Service on teletype machines that came out in the newsroom. And I was on the corner of the building. I looked down before we were going off the air, and I saw Chuck running over to the building, and he made it up to the rooftop, and he said, Doug, ad lib, he said, I think we're going to have a winter storm later tonight. I'll be here at 6 o'clock to give the latest information. So during that day, the forecast went up, and then they dropped it down. That's why there was confusion, and the forecast was not good in the end, as we all know.
Right, and so here's the entire half-hour special from 30 years ago, January 16th, 1994.
First, Belknap tumbled. Now Commonwealth will collapse. Kentuckiana's news channel, WHAS 11, presents Commonwealth Collapse. Stay with us now for live coverage of the Commonwealth implosion.
Good morning, everyone, from downtown Louisville, Theater Square. You are about to see Demolition Theater here on the news channel WHAS 11. I am Gary Rodemeyer reporting live this morning from the 22nd floor of the 800 building just across the street from the Commonwealth Building, where in just a moment we'll have our second big implosion of this winter season. The crowd downtown this morning is not large. Most of the people kept home by the cold temperatures and the prospect of watching this perhaps better on TV. We're going to have 6 different locations to show you this morning, from Sky 11, Chris Turner, from Rachel Platt on the ground, and from this great location on the above the Commonwealth Building here on the 800 building. Now, we're going to go to Doug Proffitt, who is on top of WHAS TV with another great location. Doug, we're ready for the big moment, 15 minutes away from now.
Good morning to you, Gary, and hello, everybody. 15 minutes away for a 15-second implosion. We're going to be watching the Commonwealth Building, which is just, well, it's over that way this morning. We're standing at about 0 degrees down here, and of course the wind chill is a factor. We also want to update you on things that people have been calling about in the newsroom. A winter storm is heading our way. We're under a winter storm watch right now. We're expecting 6 inches of snow by tomorrow morning, but we have good news to report. Both Jefferson County schools are closed Monday and Tuesday. Monday because of Martin Martin Luther King Day, and Tuesday because of an in-service day. And of course, Martin Luther King Day will keep a lot of people out of downtown. Chuck Taylor's going to be in at about noon today and follow it throughout the rest of the day, so stay with the news channel. Weather updates on a winter storm coming up tomorrow morning. 6 inches of snow in this area. We're going to get it again, folks. Well, we've got great locations, as we've been mentioning to you. One of the best spots from Sky 11. Let's go up live to Jim Turner. He's hovering in the helicopter above the implosion site. Good morning, Jim.
Doug, we're up in Sky 11 over downtown. The sun is just starting to come over the tops of the buildings. We'll give you a look down below now. I'm not quite sure what you can see from this angle. We're just to the northwest of the Commonwealth Building, and down below we didn't see a big crowd gathering, as you just saw and heard a moment ago from Gary and Doug. Not a big crowd downtown with these temperatures. That's what you'd expect, but we'll give you the view from Sky 11 back here in a few minutes. Back to Doug.
Okay, thank you very much, Jim. We can tell you that on the downtown streets around this building, the crowd is pretty light. I guess a lot of people are staying home. And one of the best viewpoints we saw as we began our broadcast at 8:30 was with Gary Rodemeyer. He's on that big 800 building, which of course is that big sort of goofy-looking blue skyscraper downtown by the library. Hello, Gary.
Hi, Doug. We have a terrific view here. We're looking at the Commonwealth Building from the site that most people recognize it, and that's directly approaching it on Broadway. Let's tell you about a few things that have gone into last-minute preparations here this morning. We're looking right now at the new Commonwealth Building, and you're looking at the top of the building where the skylights have been covered on top of the Commonwealth Building, and as you can see there. Now let's pan down slowly to the old Commonwealth Building. The fence that had been surrounding the building yesterday has been removed. There is an earthen dike there now, and that is covering that port. And then the Hayburn Building is being protected by trucks that have been placed around there. Now let's pan down to our left. We're going down. We'll show you the street where a bunch of people have gathered about a block and a half away from the old Commonwealth Building. That's where our Rachel Platt is located. Rachel, I understand you're near the place where they're going to punch the button this morning.
Thank you. That's right, Gary. We are down here at 5th and York, and boy, is it cold. Only about 50 people here. So we are going to talk with the person who's going to press the ceremonial button this morning, and that is Bill Tate. Let's have you turn a little bit this way. If we can have our photographer, John Pennington, pan down here. This is what you got from the demolition experts, but this is not the real thing, or what?
No, it's not the real thing.
Now, how did you get the big ordeal of doing this? You're from Memphis, but apparently Commonwealth Insurance is where you're employed. They had some kind of raffle, and you won.
They had a raffle for United Way, and I won.
So tell me what you think about this, doing this important deed today.
Well, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I'm just honored to represent Commonwealth Life.
All right, and this is what you're going to press?
Yes.
Not the real thing,
No.
All right,
Okay.
Thank you very much. And just to let you know, I talked with the demolition experts, and they said that there could be a slight delay, maybe of 5 or 10 minutes. They're saying now estimated time between 8:45 and 5 of 9. They say in the cold weather, there's no problem with explosives, but people slow down doing the finishing touches on these buildings. So anywhere from 8:45 until 5 of 9, so stay warm until then. Gary, back to you.
All right, thank you, Rachel. And you're looking at the sun breaking over the skeleton of the old Commonwealth Building that's about to be imploded and fall into its grave this morning along Broadway in downtown Louisville. We'll be back with more coverage live in just a moment. Stay with us.
Well, live at 8:37 on this very chilly Sunday morning, welcome back to WHAS 11's special Commonwealth collapse coverage as we look from the Hayburn Building there, which is right across the street at 4th and Broadway of the old building. We are promising you full-blown, no-talk coverage when the building comes down. None of us will be talking, so you'll get to watch it right here on WHAS 11. We're also being told now that the implosion may be delayed about 5 to 10 minutes. It may happen at 8:45, anywhere between 8:45 and 5 minutes to 9. And if you've just joined us, we also want to update you on the weather situation. A winter storm watch in effect for Kentuckiana. 6 inches of snow expected in our area by tomorrow morning. We're going to give you weather updates all through the weekend, the rest of this day, so stay here with us. Let's tell you a little bit about the Commonwealth. It may not look too pretty to you and me as we drive by it every day, but it has sort of an interesting history. The Commonwealth's history, its first 4 floors, from the street to the first 4 floors, built in 1926 right there at 4th and Broadway. And then they put the final 17 floors in 1955. Of course, that makes it a 21-story building. And this collapse today is expected to last between 15 to 17 seconds. And of course, it may seem a little odd to you when it all starts to happen, but Rachel Platt's going to tell us more about that later. And what we mean is once those explosives goes off, the building will not start to collapse right away. We'll give you the details on that. Now let's go back to Gary Rodemeyer. He's on top of the 800 building by the library. Hello, Gary.
Hi, Doug, and we're looking down on 4th and Broadway right now, a site that's usually a busy corner of commerce here in downtown Louisville. Right now, a few men in jumpsuits, white helmeted men down there making the final preparations for this implosion. There's a truck down there. I don't know what the purpose of that is, but as you can perhaps see also, the Hayburn building this morning has been surrounded by semi-trailer trucks and wood shields, and that is protecting that building from this implosion that is about to take place. A few people have begun to gather now about a block and a half away from the Commonwealth Building, around the area, held back by yellow tape that you've seen at police scenes, crime scenes, and that's where Rachel Platt is this morning. No crime scene there this morning, Rachel, but people are beginning to show up despite the cold weather.
That's right, Gary, but it's really funny. You can't see many faces because they're all bundled up. Blankets, I've seen everything. Some people drinking coffee. We'll go around here. People bundled up, you see the tips of their eyes and noses and things like that. You know, I asked people, why are you coming down here with it so cold? And they said it's a once-in-a-lifetime ordeal, and that's why they're here. What we do want to tell you is what is supposed to happen right before the blast. 2 minutes before, we're supposed to hear one 10-second siren. At 1 minute before, we're supposed to hear two 5-second sirens. At 15 seconds before, three 1-second sirens, not blasts. So hopefully that's going to be going off right behind us. I see Louisville Police over there, and they're supposed to be in charge of that. So hopefully at 2 minutes, when we hear that 10-second siren, we know we're getting close. Again, the cold weather may have slowed things down. No problems with the explosives, but they said people move slower, and getting the finishing touches might take a couple extra minutes. One thing they did say about the cold weather, there could be more broken glass. They said the glass becomes a little more brittle. The air is more dense in these cold temperatures, so they're a little bit worried about some of the glass like in the Brown Hotel and things like that. Other than that, just cold people, but the explosives should not be affected by the cold weather. Gary, back to you.
All right, thanks, Rachel. I know, talking to the people at the Brown Hotel on Friday, that they were concerned that some of that glass in the Brown Hotel is old and perhaps brittle and thin, and so that was one of the reasons why they felt that building had to be protected. And of course, the restaurant in the hotel this morning was closed down for breakfast, but it'll be open for brunch today. Right after the implosion, we'll be back with more live coverage in just a moment.
Welcome back live to WHAS 11's special Commonwealth collapse coverage. We now have a 2-minute warning on the Commonwealth Building coming down. This is the tricky part, folks. We're going to try to be quiet. Everything just froze. I'm just told that the implosion will now be at 9 o'clock or after. I'm being told that in my ear here, folks. So we do have a little bit of a delay on the Commonwealth implosion right now. Of course, they are extra careful, the folks at CDI. They know what they're doing. They've done this for years, sort of pioneered the implosion thing, and they want to make sure that everything is in place. Let's go to Rachel Platt. She's down near the command center following what's going on. Hello, Rachel.
Hi, Doug. Basically, the folks from CDI just came up, and they said the problem is because of the cold weather, some of the equipment is not working, not the explosive equipment, but mostly city sweepers, they said they're having problems with. They need those city sweepers here right on Broadway. As soon as the implosion happens, cleanup was supposed to begin, so they're waiting on the city sweepers. They said the cold weather has made them so they can't start and get right over here. They're kind of frozen. So Jim Santora said that probably we're looking at 9 o'clock now. So he said just kind of hold tight. The machinery, until it gets here, they can't go. So we're looking at 9 o'clock. Doug, back to you.
Okay, Rachel, thank you very much. So there we go, 9 o'clock, where it means we're about still 16 minutes away from the implosion. Stay here with us. We're going to stay right on the air and bring it to you as the 21-story building comes down. And you know, Gary, this one's going to be sort of anticlimactic when you compare Belknap, because we had the Hollywood factor back in October.
Yeah, Doug, I think, though, that the fact that this is a little bit bigger building and that it's located right in the middle of downtown Louisville makes it a lot more interesting. I know from the very first time that we found out that they were going to implode the Commonwealth Building the feeling around town was, wow, that's really a huge structure. And so as we look at it now, it's even now a little surreal. You wonder if it's really going to happen. You look across the street at this huge 21-story structure with the sunlight shining on it, and so much history behind it. It was built in 1955, and so many people worked and spent their careers in this building, both in Capital Holding and Commonwealth Insurance. For instance, Chuck Taylor and I used to meet in there after payday and cash our checks in the Commonwealth Building. So there's a lot of history here, and there are a lot of people that have spent some times and parts of their lives. Let's go up to Sky 11, where Jim Turner is looking down over what is a beautiful, sunny but cold day here. Jim?
That's right, Gary. You know, the demolition experts, Controlled Demolition International, started preparing the Commonwealth Building back in July for this day. That was more than 6 months ago. We can show you some videotape now from last summer when they went to work on the building. By September, demolition men were working their way down the north and west facades of the building, tearing away the sandstone exterior of the structure. We went along one day as they worked on the 19th floor, 200 feet up in the air. They worked through the fall until finally this week they loaded the explosives into the building. Again, about 1,000 charges in 500 locations. It's interesting, it takes about 1,000 charges for this building. The Belknap building, which is several stories smaller, it took 1,600 charges for that building. So more explosives there than here. And again, you say 9 o'clock, Gary, we'll see this come down, and this should be a great view, and we'll give it to everyone after we've seen it.
All right, Jim Turner, aloft in Sky 11, once again looking at the sunny skyline of Louisville this morning. Thank you, Jim. And let's go back and take a look once more at the previous implosion that occurred last October here in Louisville. That was the Belknap implosion, and that was quite spectacular. As you know, a little bit more Hollywood. Sylvester Stallone was on hand for that one. Not so much Hollywood today, but we expect a similar sort of event this morning in downtown Louisville. We should be about 12 to 13 minutes away. We've been put on hold until 9 a.m. 9 a.m. the implosion time. Now let's go to Doug Profit, who's over on top of the TV station. Doug?
9 a.m. and some interesting facts about the Commonwealth Building. Local ATF agents, the alcohol, tobacco, and firearms people, have been studying this. They've actually been learning it. You'd think that they would already know pretty much all they could about explosives, but they got inside this building and they came out and told us that, interestingly enough, there's less explosives being used to level the Commonwealth Building than were used in that incident in New York at the World Trade Center bombing there that did so much damage to that huge building. So exactly what's happening is they do not blow up the Commonwealth Building. The explosives are attached to support beams. The explosives slice through those beams, and then the building actually just falls onto itself. You're watching WHAS 11's special live coverage. We're just a few minutes away from the implosion. We'll be back with more for you coming right up. Welcome back live at 8:50. We're about 10 minutes away from the Commonwealth implosion in downtown Louisville at 4th and Broadway on this chilly Sunday morning. Hello, everybody. I'm Doug Profit, back with you on top of the WHAS building. A quick program note for you. Our loyal viewers of the 9th and O Baptist Church program at 9 o'clock. We will be joining that program as soon as we finish the implosion coverage. We're going to stick with this coverage through the implosion, and once it's over, we're going to dump right out of this live report, and we'll go straight to the 9th and O Baptist Church program, so you will be able to see it coming right up. Well, let's go to Rachel Platt. She's standing by live where they're going to push the button. Hello, Rachel.
Hi, Doug. You know, my mouth is barely working, so I can understand why city sweepers aren't. Apparently, that seems to be the problem with that. The equipment, some of it frozen. They're trying to get it down here in front of the Commonwealth Building. Immediately when the implosion is over, cleanup begins. That's why the city sweepers have to be here before this takes place. CDI is now saying right about 9 o'clock, so we're, 8 minutes away or so, something like that. And again, when we get to 2 minutes before the implosion, we should hear 1 10-second siren, so we'll be paying attention to that. If anything else changes, we'll get right back with you. I'll go talk to CDI here. Now back to you, Doug.
Okay, Rachel, thank you very much. And in case you're just joining us, folks, we also want to give you a quick weather update. That's another big story developing. You won't be able to tell it from all this sunshine, but we are under a winter storm watch right now in Kentuckiana. 6 inches of snow is expected to be on the ground by tomorrow morning. However, we're sort of saved by Martin Luther King Day on Monday and an in-service day on Tuesday. Jefferson County schools are not open Monday or Tuesday because of those days. But again, 6 inches of snow. They're expecting 8 inches in central Kentucky. We believe for now we're getting the 2-minute warning. Let's go back to Gary Rodemeyer. He's on the 800 building. Hello, Gary.
Yes, Doug, sirens are whistling through the air now. We're looking down on the spot where Rachel Platt is, down below what is sort of the control center on 5th Street, right behind the Bank of Louisville, if you're familiar with that. Just across from the vacant car lot at Brown Brothers Cadillac, they evacuated about 300 automobiles, so that's about the only time you'll ever see this huge car lot empty. Now, our photographer Todd Newman is looking now toward the Commonwealth Building, and as you can see, earthen dams have been constructed around the base of the building right now. And from what we see, this now 3 to 4 block area seems to be vacant, not a person around that we can see. And once again, sirens are filling the air here in downtown Louisville, and it appears that we're just moments away from the implosion of the old Commonwealth Building. Okay, we're going to stay with you now, hold a shot on the building here, and we're looking directly from behind a Brown Brothers Cadillac, about a block and a half away from the Commonwealth Building, and we're just moments away from this implosion. It's now just about 5 minutes before 9 o'clock, and although we do not see any street sweepers around, we assume that that problem has been solved. Doug, we'll go back to you now, and I guess we're about ready to go.
Okay, Gary. We are going to be quiet and let you watch the implosion of the Commonwealth Building. Here we go. Here goes the smoke cloud. That was something else. That was much louder than the Belknap implosion, I'll tell you that. And folks, I guess my lasting impression, and probably yours, will be how all the explosives went off and then that big building, like it was going to be defiant or something, decided to stand there for a while and not move. But now we've got a huge smoke cloud, a dust cloud, moving across downtown Louisville, heading toward the west, it looks like, and it's going to be overtaking us here on the WHAS building very shortly. But let's show you the replays now. Let's go to the Hayburn building, our camera right across the street from the Commonwealth Building. As you're looking live from Sky 11 there. Okay, we're going to show you the replay now, I'm told, from the 800 building. Also a pretty good view.
This is the replay from the 800 building, and what you can see now is the dust cloud moving across. You remember we told you there were a lot of people around, Rachel. Here's the replay once again. This is from the Tabor, from the Hayburn building, and well, there it goes, just a perfect collapse. We cannot see what's left of the building, and we're beginning to see it now. The dust cloud is beginning to clear, and you can see a little bit of the rubble that's left below. It looks like it's going to be about 2 or 3 stories high. I'm beginning to now get into view the new Commonwealth Building and the Brown Hotel. And you talk about dust. It has covered Broadway with dust. It's incredible, Doug. People have actually run back away from Brown Brothers to get away from the dust here. But it is extraordinary the amount of dust that this created. Doug?
I don't blame them from running, Gary, because We're in the middle of a dust storm right now. And, you know, I guess we don't have to worry too much about this dust because it's going to be covered with 6 inches of snow by tomorrow morning. Looking live again from Sky 11, you can see that cloud moving across the city now. Let's show you another view of the Commonwealth implosion just seconds ago. Okay, now we want to show you a very tight shot we took. Here's the implosion again. There you have it. The Commonwealth comes down live at 8:57. And now we've got a bunch of dust moving across downtown Louisville. It's pretty gritty stuff. But there's that rubble pile about 30 to 40 feet high. They said it'll be probably as tall as the 4 stories that were left. We want to thank you very much for tuning in to WHAS 11 this morning. We're getting ready to join the 9th and O Baptist Church program. Again, a winter storm watch underway for Kentuckiana. Join the news channel throughout the day for weather updates. For Gary Rodemeyer, Rachel Platt, Jim Turner, I'm Doug Proffitt in the middle of a dust storm. Thank you very much for watching WHAS 11, Kentuckiana's news channel. We'll see you later, everybody.
Okay, let's talk about that hat that I was wearing, Joe. I always called it the Elmer Fudd hat. I love that hat because it's so practical. I still have it. I thought it looked really good, but on TV it really looked goofy.
And Rachel looked great too. Rachel looked like a French woman.
But it did the job. I mean, we had to be in single digits temperatures that day.
Very cold. Now here's some extra news footage from the newscasts later that night.
This is Kentuckiana's 24-hour news channel, WHAS 11. Live at 6:30 from the leader in television news, Donna Lacey, Ashley Chisholm, and Carrie Kinsey. This is Kentuckiana's news channel, WHAS 11.
The old Commonwealth Building goes out with a bang. The Commonwealth collapses with no major mishaps on a frigid winter day. And you are looking at a live picture of a pile of rubble that just 10 hours ago was the Commonwealth Building at 4th and Broadway. Good evening, everyone. I'm Donna Lacey.
And I'm Chris Turner. If you missed the news channel's extended live coverage of the implosion this morning, well, in a couple of moments, you're about to relive it.
But first, we need to tell you a winter storm warning is now in effect for our area, promising ice and snow. In fact, snow has already begun to fall. Ashley Chisholm has the latest for us. Ashley.
Well, here's a look at the NextRad test data. It's showing that wintry mess moving in and through the region. Now, we're right on the line between snow and freezing rain and sleet. We do have freezing rain and sleet here in downtown Louisville and at Standiford Field, but Bowman Field reporting light snow as it does begin to move into that direction. Snow is starting to stick to the ground in Scottsburg, Indiana. So again, we're right on the edge of the freezing rain, sleet, and snow line, but we will see accumulations of ice and snow, and I'll give you all of the latest details in just a few minutes. Donna?
Thanks, Ashley. The skies were clear this morning for the collapse of the Commonwealth. It was quite a sight to see, and we have several reports for you tonight. First, the implosion and what it looked like as the building fell upon itself. The news channel's Doug Proffitt looks at the collapse from many different angles.
The Commonwealth Building looked as if it was making a statement. We had been told ahead of time that when the blast went off, the building would stand there for a few seconds. Well, it was defiant, and it was eerie to see. We timed it. First, watch as the explosives go off. Now, watch closely as the building stands there for 9 more seconds before the bottom half of it first starts to crumble. And then, right on time, the Commonwealth is down to the ground in about 15 to 17 seconds. The dust cloud moved over a good portion of the city, heading west over buildings and neighborhoods. Now, here's some other angles of the event. Watch as the Commonwealth crumbles from our camera on top of the 800 building. Now a different angle. The Commonwealth collapse coming from our camera on top of the WHAS building. And of course we couldn't resist, showing you the implosion in slow motion. 21 stories of concrete heading toward the ground.
Well, having several buildings so close to the Commonwealth made the implosion quite a challenge. The big boom did do some damage to the historic Brown Hotel just across 4th Street.
Now, the News Channel's Lisa Kiava joins us with an update live on repair and cleanup operations. Lisa?
Chris and Donna, what was 21 floors of the Commonwealth Building has now been reduced to about, I'd say 3 floors of rubble. But what you mentioned just a few seconds ago is really what's most impressive, and that's how close this old building was to the building right next door, the new Commonwealth Building. They're just about 15 feet away from each other, and anyone who walks by here looks at this and says, gosh, how did they bring that building down? And they didn't damage the new Commonwealth Building at all. It's something that even impressed the demolition team. The Commonwealth Building should have read this parking meter. Time expired. The implosion left behind a huge pile of concrete and an even bigger cloud of dust.
It was almost like a volcano was exploding.
No volcano, dynamite did this, giving us a whole new view of Louisville.
To me, it looks like the end of a war. All the posts, steel posts, columns, concrete coming out of the ground. It kind of looks like lots of destruction.
What might look like rubble to you looks like a treasure to others, trying to find a souvenir.
A piece of history.
What are you going to do with it?
Take it home.
Put it next to our Belknap brick.
You didn't just find concrete on the street. Some of it came through the windows in the Brown Hotel. 50 windows will need repair, but this damage was expected.
It really went extremely well. It went better than any of us anticipated.
Now, work crews hope to have all of this debris cleared by mid-March, and they say they'll be ready to build on it before the Pegasus Parade.
Well, Lisa, it was pretty cold this morning. How did the bitter cold affect the demolition? Any extra problems, anything like that?
Well, it did delay the implosion by a few minutes. There were some city sweepers frozen in their tracks. They think the cold weather might have been responsible for taking out some of those windows in the Brown Hotel. A lot of the windows very old, so very frigid temperatures and those vibrations probably cracked the windows. Even so, no damage to the Hayburn Building or the new Commonwealth Building, so the demolition team is very happy, Chris.
Lisa Kiava from 4th and Broadway tonight live. Thank you very much.
Simply amazing how they do that. Well, if you wanted to watch the implosion this morning, the best seat in the house was the easy chair in your living room. If you had to report on the implosion, Jim Turner believes the best seat had to be where he was, high in Sky 11.
In no time, a cloud of dust billowed into the air, drifted to the northwest, and hovered over downtown. That's why the best seat downtown was in Sky 11. The dust didn't choke us. When it looked as if we were flying into the eye of a storm, instead we soared higher to survey the damage. Below, dust dominated downtown streets. Look at the layer of dust on the Brown Brothers Cadillac lot. It's a good thing they cleared the lot last week. About 3 minutes after the implosion, here's another view of the skyline and the dust. Finally, the gritty dust cleared, and we could see the Commonwealth collapse. Gravity is good, at least it's effective. That could be the unofficial motto of Controlled Demolition International, the implosion people. 175 pounds of explosives, and gravity
and this is what you get. Jim Turner, Kentuckiana's News Channel, WHAS 11.
Well, even a 0-degree morning didn't keep some people off the streets of downtown and away from the implosion. A small crowd just had to come see the building tumble down for themselves. Now the question is, was it worth the cold?
Coffee? It's only $1.
Coffee, layers, blankets, anything to keep warm, they had it on 5th Street. That's where a few, shall we say, brave souls shivered in 0 temperature to see the implosion for themselves.
We are crazy and it is freezing out.
There's not a lot to do in Louisville. Folks started to lose it as they waited, lose the feeling in their toes, hands, and noses. It seems some children were not here on their own accord.
Why are you out here?
Why are you out here?
Why are you out here?
I want to see a building blown up.
Yeah.
This is the same thing to do. When you just, you know, this doesn't happen very often, and I want to see it, no matter how cold it is.
Daddy!
Yeah.
It's gonna go off any minute!
Yeah.
There were some advantages to seeing the implosion live. There was the countdown.
3, 2, 1!
And it was hard to beat this for a view. But was it worth it?
Yeah, it was quite awesome, I thought. Never saw such a thing in my life, and awful glad I was here.
Awesome, indeed. There were about 125 people downtown for the implosion, and the cold wasn't the only flip side. You know, all that dust after the building fell, it headed straight for the crowd.
Carrie, thanks very much. Before we go tonight, another look at the Commonwealth implosion from this morning. Only the News Channel brought you the implosion from 6 angles, including Sky 11. Our chief tape editor, Roger C., put together the spectacular implosion from all the views.
Neat. Just a reminder, stay with the News Channel tonight for the storm coverage, and of course, Good Morning Kentuckiana, and the morning begins early at 5:30. Thanks for joining us this evening.
Good night, everybody.
This is Kentuckiana's 24-hour news channel, WHAS 11. Live at 11 from the leader in television news, Donna Lacey, Ashley Chisholm, and Carrie Kinsey. This is Kentuckiana's news channel, WHAS 11.
First came the deep freeze, then the freezing rain, turning Kentuckiana roads into a solid sheet of ice. What's more, snow should fall overnight, and you could wake up to this. Taking a look now live at the NextRad radar, you can see this winter storm system in vivid color, hovering above us, dumping nasty weather on Kentuckiana. Good evening, everyone. I'm Donna Lacey. Putting it simply, the roads at this hour are hazardous. Several hours of freezing rain have made them dangerously slick. The News Channel's Brooke Willis has been out on the roads tonight, and she joins us now live looking down on Interstate 64. Brooke?
Donna, the word hazardous seems to be an understatement as far as describing these road conditions. You're absolutely right. We're standing on top of the Belvedere. We've got a great vantage point of I-64. You can see how slick the roads are. A sheet of ice is underneath a thick layer of snow, and driving is slow at best. People have been slipping and sliding all night long. Between the city and the county, we're told there have been about 100 injury accidents and dozens of fender benders besides. More than enough reasons why you should stay off the roads if you can. This is one of those nights when many drivers wish they had stayed home.
Car hit me and went up there, and the semi's almost knife jacked up there.
Not a fun night on the roads, huh?
Really? Should have been home, huh?
At least she walked away from her accident. This motorist had to be carried away into an ambulance. As drivers tried to maneuver on the roads that had become ice rinks, they learned sometimes nothing seemed to be able to keep themselves out of an accident.
That hit the wall. Everybody just went for food, you know. But it was nothing I could do. It was just absolutely nothing I could do.
And in many cases, one accident led to another accident.
We were just coming down the interstate here, and we saw these folks in front of us who were wrecked already, and we just barely got stopped before we hit them. And I was stopped here dead, and my wife was up here talking to the folks in the car, and this guy rammed into us from the back.
And here along the Watterson near Taylor Boulevard, a woman got hit after getting out of her car. The bad weather is bringing other nightmares as well, like this water main break along Northwestern Parkway.
I guess a combination of weather staying cold for a long time and the water temperature dropping enough where it finally broke.
What do you think about being out here tonight fixing it?
No, I love it.
Well, you can bet that motorists certainly do not love this commute wherever they have to go. I bet many of them wish they could stay home. Now, we talked to the folks at the county police, city police before we came out here. We were told by the city that I-65 northbound between the Ford Motor Plant and Crittenden Drive was especially hazardous. I asked the folks in the county, where is it especially hazardous? They said everywhere. To show you how bad it is, my notes while I was standing out here, have them out for about a minute. There's a little bit of ice that's formed on my notes. It's absolutely everywhere, so please stay off those roads if you can. Donna and Chris?
Brooke Willis, thank you. Be careful on the way home, Brooke. Well, folks did have plenty of warning about the storm, and the forecast prompted many to plan ahead with a trip to the gas station or the grocery store. Some of those folks are on the road now, and highway crews are fighting what definitely is an uphill battle tonight. Our Chris Turner has a story live from the top of the Jewish Hospital parking garage downtown. Chris?
And Donna, it's sleeting here right now. You may even be able to hear it. Little pebbles of ice here hitting us. As you can look behind me, you see I-65 north. Cars coming by here very slowly, and maybe just one or two or maybe three a minute or so compared to what it would normally would be. Now, we've had 24 hours really to get ready for this storm because we first heard the forecasts of the snow to come with this about this time last night. So folks have been dreading the storm and getting ready for it. Here's a look. Donita Brown knew what she had to do on the way home from church tonight, stock up for the storm. But she had trouble finding some of the staples.
There's no bread. There's no hamburger. Let's see. There's
no spaghetti.
No spaghetti, right? There's very little left. But my boys will eat anything, so it doesn't matter. I'm lucky.
This store sold out of many of the staples after a pre-storm rush of customers this afternoon, but you still could find something.
I got some chicken and some Coke, some Gatorade. I have a sick child at home, and just those staple type of things. They're all out of bread.
But customers like Mrs. Brown shopped quickly because the ice was forming on the car in the parking lot. Here's what you're up against if you have to go out tonight. The rain falls from the sky, say onto the car here. It immediately turns into ice, you can see. And that's what happens when it hits the road as well. Look down at my feet. This is very slippery in this parking lot. And this is what the roads in Kentuckiana look like. Salt trucks got out about 6:30 just as the freezing rain started to fall. They wanted to form a brine on the road to keep the ice from forming, but the rain fell too quickly.
It creates a layer of brine which breaks the bond between the ice and the roadway itself, and hopefully that allows us to get it off a little quicker, easier.
And folks put out the chemicals or the salt or the kitty litter on the sidewalk since it's very easy to slip and fall. Slippery whether you're on foot or in the car tonight, that's for sure. One thing to keep in mind with the highway departments, they do say they have enough salt for this storm, although their supplies are running a little low. After all, it's what, the third or fourth major storm we've had in 3 or 4 weeks. Donna, back to you.
Chris, the King holiday is tomorrow, so a lot of folks won't have to go out in the morning. If folks do have to go out, what do they need to do to prepare?
Well, some common sense things. Make sure you've got a good ice scraper because you're certainly going to need that, and also a snow brush with the snow later in the forecast. In addition, give yourself plenty of extra time, perhaps double the time or even triple the time you'd need to get to where you need to go in the morning. If you're flying out of Standiford Field, call your airline to make sure your flight would be coming in or coming out of Standiford Field. There have been some delays and cancellations at other airports that in turn affect Standiford Field here in Louisville. So a couple of things to remember for the morning.
Chris, thanks for your live report. Be careful on the way back. Yeah. That's Chris Turner reporting live. Storm team meteorologist Chuck Taylor has been tracking this storm system all day. Let's check in with Chuck for the latest. Chuck?
Right now, Donna, looking at NEXRAD radar test data from the new Weather Service radar, you can see a band of very heavy precipitation, mostly in the form of sleet with some snow mixed in, now moving into the Louisville area. That's what we have right now. Back to our west, there has been a changeover to snow, and it looks like over the next few hours, we will see that change to mostly snow around here. Now, as far as accumulations are concerned, first of all, we do want to point out that we do have a winter storm warning in effect for the region tonight and for the morning hours. The freezing rain and sleet will change over to snow. Here in Louisville, we could see 3 or 4 inches of snow before this whole thing tapers off to flurries later on tomorrow afternoon. And when you head out in the morning for your commute in the morning, you will be driving in snow. Now, our storm team trackers are already reporting that change over to snow to our west and north. Up in Lawrence County, they've already got an inch of snow on the ground. They're getting heavy snow up there right now with the 20 degrees in New Albany. We're seeing that change over to snow now, but in Hardinsburg, it's mostly freezing rain, and in Bedford, it's mostly freezing rain. The driving will be just plain miserable tonight and most of the day tomorrow, and I'll be back with my complete forecast in a few minutes.
Thank you, Chuck. Well, don't leave for work tomorrow morning without checking in with the news channel. Good Morning Kentuckiana will be on the air 1/2 hour early tomorrow morning at 5:30 to bring you the latest weather information. We'll have continuous live reports and any cancellations you need to know about. For complete storm team coverage, watch Good Morning Kentuckiana on early tomorrow morning at 5:30. We already have several cancellations to tell you about tonight. Everything from daycares to factories are shutting down, so watch carefully now as we roll these cancellations on the screen. We're back in a moment with another blast. Today's collapse of the Commonwealth Building and our coverage of the winter storm on the news channel continues as we take a look now at Interstate 65 near Jewish Hospital in Louisville. Looks like the roads are practically abandoned there. We'll be back in just a moment. The Big Bang Theory today was that the Commonwealth Building would implode and collapse and nothing else would be harmed. It worked, just about. In case you didn't see the spectacular implosion this morning, here's another chance.
Daddy, it's gonna go off any minute. Yeah.
It was the moment so many had waited for, the moment these people at zero temperature had shivered for. It was time to put the Commonwealth Building out of its misery.
Quite awesome, I thought. Never saw such a thing in my life. I'm awful glad I was here.
When the dust had cleared, this is what was left of the 68-year-old skyscraper. Scrap, metal, and concrete. Some people wanted a piece of the rock.
A piece of history.
Yep.
Yeah, we go to all the implosions.
No major unplanned damage. The Brown Hotel had a few windows blown out, like 50, but the damage was expected. And according to the company who blasted the 21-story building, it was one of the best implosions they'd ever had.
We're extremely satisfied with the project.
There is so much rubble from the implosion it's going to take until March to clear the site. Well, coming up next on the News Channel, Storm Team meteorologist Chuck Taylor has the latest information for you on tonight's winter storm. And as you can see, the storm here on the up-to-the-minute NexRad radar system. We'll be back.
The WHAS 11 Storm Team. Meteorologist Chuck Taylor, Ken Schultz, and Ashley Chisholm. The WHAS 11 Storm Team.
What was mostly freezing rain is now changing over to a mixture of sleet and snow, and that band of heavier precipitation is moving through right now. Now back to the west of us, precipitation is mostly in the form of snow, and that's what we're going to be contending with here later on tonight and during the day tomorrow. Now, as far as accumulations go, this has been a hard one to pin down, but it does appear that here in the Louisville area, once the change takes place, we could probably see about 4 inches of snow before it all changes to flurries later on tomorrow afternoon. North of here and just north of here by a few miles, the snow will pile up to 3 to 6 inches. Up around Indianapolis, where they've already got 5 inches of snow on the ground, they'll end up with 6 to 9 inches. And the snow is coming down heavily in Indianapolis, where the temperature is 15. It is snowing at Bedford with 21. Elsewhere, we still have that mix around, but even in places like Fort Knox and Lexington, there will be that changeover to sleet and then to snow. Our temperature is topping out at 27. The humidity is 92%. We have an east wind at 5. Our wind chill is 14. The barometer 30.10 and rising. Our high right now 27. Early this morning, though, it did get down to 4 below zero. In melted precipitation, we've had 0.13 of an inch. Well, on the weather map, the big high-pressure system, the Arctic high, is moving off to the east. We have a developing low to our southwest that is causing our miserable weather right now, but everything is sliding eastward, and there is a new mass of very cold Arctic air that will be sweeping in once all this precipitation comes to an end during the day tomorrow. So prepare for another blast of extremely cold weather. In fact, by Tuesday night, we should see an overnight low down around 8 below zero. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. By the end of the week, we should see quite a thaw. So for tonight, miserable driving. We have a winter storm warning in effect. Our icy precipitation will change over to snow. We'll see a temperature top out around 29. Then during the day tomorrow, around 3 or 4 inches of snow here. Temperatures will be falling during the day. Tomorrow night, snow flurries ending, the overnight low around 0. Bitter cold for Tuesday, a high of 6. The warm-up will start on Wednesday, 22, 30 on Thursday, and I think by next weekend we will see temperatures well into the 40s. So bear with it for another few days, and then things will improve.
Okay, thank you, Chuck. Our storm team coverage of this winter mess continues throughout the night and tomorrow morning. We will be on the air 1/2 hour early at 5:30 in the morning with Good Morning Kentuckiana. Don't leave home without it. Sports Extra with Carrie Kinsey is next, and after that we'll be back with more live storm team coverage of this winter storm. Stay with us. An exciting day in sports.
Yes, it was.
Thanks, Carrie.
All right.
We'll be back with a live update on what you can expect for the morning commute. Stay with us. Let's go now back live to where the News Channel's Brooke Willis has been watching traffic move slowly. Brooke, how do things look for the morning's commute?
Well, Donna, it's, forgive me, I'm having a tough time hearing you out here. The weather's probably wreaking havoc with our equipment, but let's take a look out here at I-64. We're standing on top of the Belvedere where we've got a great view. So you can see people seem to be smartening up. The traffic has lightened up considerably, but what traffic there is out here is moving very, very slowly and wisely so. You see a lot of snow on the ground, and that's covering a thick layer of ice underneath. All night long, photographer Pete Longton and I were traveling throughout Louisville and the county, and we saw a lot of scary sights. Not only were motorists getting into one accident after another, But motorists on highways were getting out of their cars, drivers were, to try to shove their cars along because they were losing their traction. What does this mean for your morning commute? What else? It means it's going to be a major headache. And of course, the advice here is if you can in any way stay off the road, please do. And police, no doubt, would be offering that same advice as well. They say the roads are hazardous just about everywhere you go. Donna and Chris?
Brooke Willis joining us live. Travel home safely, Brooke. Thank you. Now, another reminder, watch the news channel in the morning before you leave the house. Good Morning Kentuckiana begins a half hour early because of this weather mess. We'll have live storm team coverage beginning at 5:30, and you'll need to know the latest before you head out. And speaking of the latest, Chuck Taylor is here.
Well, it is miserable out there. We still have a winter storm warning in effect, and we're seeing that changeover to sleet and to snow right now in the local area. That's what we're going to see over the next few hours. The temperature now is 27. We'll likely top out at 29. Then during the day tomorrow, temperatures will start to tumble once again. Around here, I would say 4 inches of snow before it tapers off to flurries. Tomorrow night, it will be partly cloudy with flurries ending. The overnight low will be around 0. A bitter cold day for Tuesday, a bitter cold night for Tuesday night. But after that, it looks like we'll finally come out of the deep freeze. So things will be looking up by the end of the week.
Winter here with a vengeance.
Absolutely.
No doubt. Well, thank you for joining us this morning. If you have to go out, drive careful. It's best if you stay in. Thanks for joining us this evening. Good Morning Kentuckiana on at 5:30 in the morning. Have a good evening.
And of course, later that day in the overnight hours and the next morning, the real blast would come, Joe.
Right, of snow.
The winter storm of '94. We had no idea what we were getting ready to hit. I mean, this town shut down for more than a week.
It was pretty bad. And I remember I was going to, I knew I wasn't going to have school that morning because it was Martin Luther King Jr. Day, but I woke up and the table on our deck was this much of snow, and it was something everybody alive at that point in Louisville remembers to this day.
Well, I had to come here at 3 in the morning that day because Rachel and I were the first on the air anchoring our coverage, and the snow was coming down. The flakes were as big as Dixie cups. I mean, they were falling out of the sky in balls.
They were big.
It was a wet snow, and well.
But more on that.
We'll relive that nightmare some other time.
Right, we'll be doing that special in the future. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Hope you enjoyed the special. We appreciate you watching it.